Hello, my dear friends. Once again, I welcome you to this class, and we are studying about our constitution. Our nation is a great nation of democracy, and we have a written constitution. And we were talking about the importance of a constitution, the requirement, why a nation requires a constitution. That is what we were talking about. And we saw the constitution is important because it unites all the people. It makes a common rule for all the people of the country, whatever group they belong to, whatever society they belong to. It is making them all one and equal. And we also saw that it will determine what kind of governing system a country should have. Whether the country should have a democratic government, or it should have an army rule, or it should have an authoritarian rule, or it should have a monarchy. Whatever system, government people want, it will be mentioned in the constitution. Therefore, they cannot change the government that is existing in the country. So that is the next point that we are going to discuss about. The third point. The purpose of the constitution is to save ourselves. That means, suppose we are having a democracy. Of course, that is what we are having, because it is written in the Constitution of India that India will have a democratic form of government. Now, suddenly we see there's a lot of corruption is there, a lot of criminal activities are taking place in our country, a lot of violence is there. So suddenly the present government thinks, oh, we shall not have democracy, we shall have autocracy, we shall have one man rule. It is not possible, because it is mentioned very clearly in the constitution that we will have democratic form of government. So we cannot change the system of government, because our fathers of the constitution, they thought well about it, they discussed well about it, planned well about it, and decided democratic form of government is the best form of government for our country, and they have adopted the democratic form of government for India. Therefore, no one can change. So it is to save ourselves from other form of government, autocracy, monarchy, or whatever it may be. We cannot change it, because the constitution very clearly says we will have a democratic form of government. So that is another important thing, that the function or the constitution performs the important function for us. It is to defend ourselves. So no one can just make a single decision and say tomorrow onwards we will have different form of government and so on. That is not possible. So it is meant for the country, and it has to be followed it up. And therefore these are the functions that constitution does for us, in order to unite us, in order to protect us, in order to make us equal, and so on. So the constitution does a great work. It is a great significant one in our life, in the life of a nation and its people, to protect the people and to guide the people to move towards ahead. So that is the important functions of a constitution. Now let us see the great constitution that we have, the most important constitution that we have. That is, what are its key features? Let us see them. So we said our country, before getting independence, we were under British rule, and the Britishers were commanding, and the Indians had no choice of their own. They had only one choice, that is to obey. If not obeying, then they will be put into prison. So they had no choice of their own. They could not decide what is good for them, how they should be ruled, and so on. British will decide and they will execute. And the Indian people had no other choice at all. So when India was about to get freedom, the demand for a constituent assembly was there. So a committee was formed and they sat together for 3 years under the leadership of Dr. Baba Ambedkar. They decided, they discussed, they planned, everything they did in order to constitute the best constitution, in order to find out the best constitution. For that they consulted many other countries, they read their constitution, and whatever was good in them, they took it and made it part of our constitution. So the constitution that is ours, it is not just one man sitting and writing down whatever he likes, or a group of people sitting down and writing whatever they like, but it is a constitution well planned and absorbed from different other countries' constitution, the good parts, what is more suitable for us, and so every aspect of our country was considered by while forming this constitution. We know India at the time of receiving independence, it was very poor, in a very poor shape, we can say. Literacy rate was very low, educated people were not there, people did not have job, only thing that they did was agriculture, and that also was just in the ordinary way. The production was very less, therefore starvation was there, and people could not think about development. So when they wrote down this constitution, they had all these points in their mind: the present situation of the country, the people's financial situation, all that. So keeping all that in mind, the fathers of the constitution, they wrote down the best way that is possible to help the government to improve or to bring development to the people and to the country as well. So it was a very huge task, to make a constitution for such a huge country. And we also know at the time of independence, India was divided into Pakistan and India. So again, that was a big challenge. So there was a big riot was there, sort of struggle was there. People, so long they fought together for freedom. Now suddenly they are dividing on the basis of religion, and so that was a big problem that the independent India faced. And also, people of India belong to different groups, different languages, and they belong to different religions, different castes, different tribes, different societies. So a lot of difficulties were there. And also at the time of independence, we know there were a lot of kings were there, small kings were there. They were all trying to get independent. They did not want to be part of India. They wanted to be independent country. So those princely states, they to settle those issues, that also was another problem that India was facing. So in spite of all these things, we can say the fathers of the constitution, they did a very good job by preparing the best constitution that is possible, that is available for our country. Then we can say India is known for its unity as well as its diversity, and we call it as one of the features of our country, unity in diversity. So India has got a lot of groups, a variety of groups of people, cultures, languages, religions, practices, cultures, and so on. So there is a lot of varieties there in our country for the people. But in spite of all these difficulties or all these differences, we can say India still remain united. That's why we call our country, this feature, as unity in diversity. So one reason why we remain united is because of the constitution. The constitution makes everyone equal, everyone important in our country. And we know in our country there is, at the time of independence especially, there was a lot of caste system was there. Higher caste and lower caste. The higher caste people consider themselves as very important and made others, especially the lower caste people, as a slaves, as an untouchable people, and so on. So there was a lot of difficulties. Though we say that the constitution is bringing equality, but still the people were practicing untouchability and casteism and so on. So the constitution has brought forward to a great extent all the people of India forward to come away from there, to come out from their untouchability, their casteism, and live together as brothers and sisters. That is the great thing that the constitution is done for us. So because of this we can say the independent India is being transformed into a very strong and a very good democratic society. It is all the credit goes to Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar and his teams. So a little bit let us see about Dr. Ambedkar. So Dr. Ambedkar is known as the father of the Indian Constitution. So we have Mahatma Gandhi as the father of the nation. The same way we call Dr. Sahib Ambedkar, Baba Sahib Ambedkar as the father of the constitution, because he was the brain behind, the man behind in constituting this constitution of India. Then his characteristics. He believed that his participation in the Constituent Assembly helped the scheduled castes to get some safeguards in the draft constitution. So people who belong to scheduled castes or scheduled tribes, Ambedkar wanted them also to get some benefit from the constitution. So he has specially mentioned the privileges for them, the advantages for them, all that. Then he also stated that the laws might exist and scheduled castes still had reason to fear, because the administration of these laws were in the hands of the caste Hindu officers. So he knew the constitution says everyone is equal, but at the same time Ambedkar knew that people who belong to this low caste, they may find difficult to get justice, because all the officers, those who are executing, they are the high caste Hindus. So if somebody go and complain against a low caste, against a high caste Hindu to the officers who are also high caste Hindus, we know they will not take action against the high caste people. So the low caste people will be in the down level. They will be continuing to remain as a downtrodden people. So all these thoughts were already there in the mind of Dr. Ambedkar. And so what did he do? He invited these people, low caste people, you also stand for election and become MPs and MLAs. So you don't just remain always downside or at the bottom level, but come up in the society and show your talents, stand for election, become a leader in the society, so that you will have and your society will have more importance in our country. So he knew all these things, and therefore he encouraged the people, especially people who belong to this backward caste, low caste and so on, to come up in life and to excel in the life and do the best in the society in order to achieve more for themselves as well as for the society. Now let us see some of the features of the Indian Constitution. One is federalism. Federalism. We can say Indian Constitution clearly states that India will have a federal government system. We know what is federal government system. It is referring to different levels of government. We know we have so many governments in our country. One is there at the central government at Delhi. So we have central government. Then below that we have so many state governments are there. State governments. ST. State government. So all these are state governments. Then below the state government again there are so many Jilla Parishad or Jilla government or village panchayat. So we can see a hierarchy of governments. At the top, central government, which is meant for all the country. So then below them is a state government, which is meant for that particular state. And also there are union territories, they also have their own government. Then below that there is village wise or district wise there is a government. We call it Zilla Parishad. So all these are different forms or different levels of government. And this system of government is called federal government. I hope now you understand what is federal government. You yourself are aware about the government at the center with the prime minister, president, all that. Then we have state government heading the government by the chief minister and his council of ministers. Then in Zilla Parishad also we elect the Zilla Parishad members and they will elect one person as the president or as a chairman, and then he will have his own committee members to see the local development and so on. So all these governments, they cooperate together. So for example, Zilla Parishad, they cannot make rule for all the country. So there is a territory is there, maybe district wise. So the Zilla Parishad government can make rule only in their territory, only in their area. They cannot make rule for the entire state. That is not allowed. So each Zilla Parishad, they will make a rule for the members who are existing in that territory in order to perform their duties and so on. Then the state governments will make rule meant for all the people living in that state. They cannot make rule for the neighboring states, but they can make rule only for their own people. Then the central government, in fact, they make rule for all the country. So the rule that is made by the central government is meant for all the people in their country. So nobody can say, I will follow only state government, I will not follow central government. That is not possible because central government is above all. So the rules that are made by the central government is meant for all the people in the country. Then addition to that, state government can make separate rules because people who are living in the Delhi, they do not know what is Arunachal Pradesh, they do not know what is Sikkim, or they do not know other small states in our country. So the people who are living in that state, especially the MLAs whom we elect, and they will know the situation, the local situation. Therefore, in order to suit the local people or the local situation, they will make proper laws. And again, the state government cannot reach out every nook and corner of the state. So in order to develop every part of the state, the certain powers are given to Zilla Parishad. So they will try to develop in their own local areas. So that is how the federal system of government is functioning. So above all, central government is there. They are above everyone else. So that is how the federal system of India is functioning. And we have this federal system, it is because it is mentioned in the Constitution of India that India will have a federal system of government. So we cannot change that. It is written in the Constitution. Otherwise in the Parliament they should have a meeting and the party have to discuss it in the Parliament, and they should have 2/3 majority if they want to make any change in the Constitution. Then only it is possible. Otherwise, it will remain as it is. Then the second feature of the constitution is parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form of government. So parliamentary form of government. So that also we know that our government is functioning as a parliament. What is parliament? We elect our MPs, our MLAs and so on, isn't it? So every 5 years we have election to the central government or to the parliament, and we call them MPs, member of parliament, and they come together, meet together, elect a leader, and who will become the prime minister, and he will select his members, his team, who are called council of ministers, and so they all will together work together and form the new government, and they will rule the country. That is how the parliament form of government is functioning. So we can say the Constitution of India guarantees universal adult franchise. What is the meaning of universal adult franchise? That is the voting right. The Constitution of India says everyone who has reached an adult will have the right to vote. So in India now the age to become adult is 18 years. So any person who has reached 18 years of age, he will be given a chance to vote in the election. So one person can have only one vote, whether they are a great person or whether they are rich person or important person, doesn't matter. One person will have only one vote. So that shows the equality. That is one way of expressing the equality of the citizens of a country. That everyone is given one vote. Whether even if he is only a beggar, even if he is only an orphan, doesn't mean he will have one right. He will have one vote. And the richest person in the country also will have only one vote. Therefore, there is equality is there. So remember, in our country, we have adult franchise. People who reach 18 years of age will be given chance to vote. And we have a lot of people are there. There is traditional caste is there, class is there, gender hierarchies are there. So in India, mostly the male gender is dominating the society. In most of the society, males are important, and so lot of problems are there in our country. So people, in spite of all these difficulties, gender inequalities, casteism, class system, all that, people come out and vote and elect their representative. And every citizen of the country, irrespective of their background or social status or gender, they will be able to vote in the elections. And they can also stand for election. Not only they go for voting, but if they want, they can stand as a candidate. Every person in our country who has got this adult stage, they are able to stand for election. So always we think that I have to go for voting, but it is also possible I can also stand as a candidate. I can also stand for to become an MLA or an MP and so on. That is also possible for every citizen of our country. And these representatives are accountable to the people. So once we elect our leader through election, then they become a representative and they are responsible for the people of that area, of that constituency. MLA or MP, they cannot say, I am already elected, now I am a minister or I am a MP, I will do whatever I want, I will collect a lot of money for myself, I will build big house, or I will not do anything for the people, and so on. So that is not correct. They are accountable to the people, they are responsible to the people, and it is their duty to make sure that people of that constituency experiences development. Financial situation should increase, the developmental environmental situation should be seen, the infrastructure development should be there, all that should be there. All that is the responsibility of MPs or the MLAs, their representative to see. Otherwise, when the election comes next time,